is Melissa Wilkes, and I am the founder of Improve Yourself. I'm a nutrition and mindset coach and retreats facilitator. And I've been running women's health sessions I've been doing this kind of business for about 6 years, but I've been running the women's health sessions. This is our 3rd year, and I've always done them live, face-to-face, like at an event on the first Thursday of every month. They're held at the Flourish Centre in Stirling if you're interested in coming, and I get a different speaker in every month. However, what I noticed is that there needs to be a real connection. It's something that we do weekly, and I just feel like, especially because of what happened last year, it's so important that we still have that life balance. And everyone knows how to use Zoom now, or Facebook Lives and all that sort of stuff, because we've had to use everything online. So why don't we have a weekly chat? And so that's where this has come from. And I'm really excited to get a different speaker in every month. Every week for the live chat. So it's going to be every Tuesday night at 7:30. And so we'll still have the live events every the first Thursday of every month, but we'll also have the live chats in here every Tuesday night at 7:30. So it's super exciting. And the whole purpose is really to help you learn more about all the different areas of being a woman, how we can support ourselves. And there's just so many modalities out there. There's so many different services. There's different specialists and experts that we don't even know about. And there's so much more support that we can actually receive that we could be tapping into. So that's the point of this. And that's what's got me up doing this from now on Tuesday nights, hanging out with you guys on here, hopefully on Facebook as of next week. So yeah, I'm really excited. Our next month's session is actually with Fiona Jean. She's the Purposeful Warrior, and she'll be talking about self-directed purpose. Fiona's an amazing speaker, author, and transformation coach, and I know you'll get a lot out of it. So if you're interested, it's the 6th of May. And all the event details are in the Facebook group here at the top in the announcements, so you can check that out. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce you guys to Lisa Miller. Lisa is the owner and founder of Botanical Hair Therapy. Lisa is a devoted mother of 2 kiddies, and we actually met through our sons. They actually attended the same school, primary school and high school. So pretty cool. I always like to share how I've met people as well, if you haven't already noticed. So a little bit about Lisa. Lisa's been a hairdresser for 30 years and has been studying the healing arts for 15 years. Lisa studied and facilitated Reiki Healing, Indian head massage, flower essences for emotional balance with the Australian bush flower essences, and more recently she's completed Universal Rays Healing and the Emotional Literacy and Mindfulness Academy program to help support and facilitate healing and workshops for children and teenagers. Well, I can't wait to hear more about that. Lisa has evolved her workspace, the Botanical Hair Therapist, over the 12 years that she's worked from home, and introducing these offerings to her clients. So the commitment that Lisa has made to her own personal growth and general well-being is paramount to her. And she states that although she's not perfect in her own physical wellness, who is, she supports her clientele with any information she has attained over the years. Lisa has bookshelves filled with information and is adorned with oracle cards and crystals. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for putting up with me tonight with technical difficulties.
We made it.
So thanks so much for giving up your time tonight. I know how precious it is when we're business owners, and we also have children as well. So I feel like that's really, can be quite tricky and hard to do. So I appreciate that. And yeah, I guess really trying to find that balance when you're trying to work in the life, work, children, finding your own time and all that sort of stuff can be a little bit like a juggling act.
100%.
Yeah. So I have to start with my first question, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to ask everybody this one. What's your favorite food?
So I've been thinking about this one. I'm a bit of a Mexican fan, and I love the concept of having so many different foods in one bowl. So I like poke bowls as well, and I prefer to buy them and eat them. I'm not very good at creating them myself, but usually because I'm too busy. But but I love the concept. So yeah, and definitely at my age, hormones and things like that, and yeah, just the age I'm at, and juggling everything. I think that the most nutrition you can get in your body in one hit is paramount. So
absolutely. Do you know, that's one of my favorite meals as well, is actually one of my favorite foods is Mexican, and I love Mexican nourish bowls. They're my favorite.
Yes.
I'll have to make you one sometime.
Yes, please. That'd be awesome.
So let's jump into it. Tell me a little bit about you. I know I did a nice big intro on you, but is there anything else that sort of came to mind when I was doing that you wanted to share about yourself?
No, actually, when you read it back, I go, whoa, that's a lot. When people ask me what I do for a living, depending on the crowd or the people that I'm around, I'll tend to say hairdresser or I'll say hair therapist, because of the concept that I kind of birthed myself being hair and therapy and bringing it all together. And it was kind of like last year, after having obviously some time, I was actually grateful that I could stay open for a little bit longer. But even with the children home and sort of trying to juggle everything, I did create some space to sort of think about what I had built and what I had created. And I was going through a personal growth course last year called Path of Light, and illuminated to me a lot of myself that I needed to work on. And then one day I think I just had a client in the chair, and I was standing in the room and I was like, I think I actually have just worked out that I've created this space for myself, for my own healing. And you know how you seek things and it's like these little shiny things that pop up in your life and you go, that sounds interesting. My heart says, do that. And then, that's kind of been a journey of mine since probably more so when I found out I was pregnant with Jackson. So 13 years ago, I was guided to go to a healer, because as grateful as we were to be pregnant with Jackson, that wasn't actually in our plan at the time. So he sort of gave me the tap on the shoulder, which is a really beautiful little thing that I like to tell him too. And that's what kind of, because I was so shocked and I was going through a lot of confidence issues, saying, I don't think I can do this, I'm not ready to be a mother. I started seeking out a Reiki healer, and so once I'd sort of opened up that avenue, that's when I realized the shifts that were just really subtly taking place in my life. And that's when I first started to do Reiki healing and learning level 1 and 2 with my Reiki master. So that was awesome.
Yeah. Wow. So you've been doing it quite a while.
Yeah.
I feel like we end up learning such powerful things, and we want to share that with other people and have them to experience it as well. And then as we start sharing, we kind of keep learning and growing on top of what we're sharing, and we just keep working on that, and it just keeps like peeling the layers back, and it makes us develop more and more and grow more and more, so that we become so good at what we're doing and what we're teaching and what we're sharing. But we're also getting that inner work on ourselves as well. We're also getting that for ourselves in that whole journey. So I've definitely experienced that myself. And I think that is where you kind of really see that you've found your purpose, or you know you're in the right path, or on the right path, because it's all in alignment. Because as you're teaching people, they kind of teach you what you need to know as well to learn, you know, and grow and become bigger, and peel off and go put through those uncomfortable stages to to really develop as a person, and see things that, you know, some people just don't want to make changes in their life, and they don't want to you know, grow, or, you know, do anything different than the normal. So yeah, I totally get where you're coming from.
So it's kind of been a bit of a work in progress, and especially having these kind of conversations and matters of the heart and you know, our higher selves and things like that. I've had experiences even before I got involved in the healing arts, where I would say something to someone in the chair and they would just burst into tears. And being a very busy salon environment, I used to work in one in Mount Lawley, beautiful day spa and hair salon, and it was hectic, but I would have these conversations with people and we would have this really amazing experience. And then I was like, I don't really understand what was going on there, but I think I need to focus on that, maybe put that aside for now and just get on with you know, creating something later down the track. And I would have to say that from creating a space that's, I used to do a lot more clients in this space, but it would get to the point where the conversations would go so deep that having someone else sitting in the other chair was just uncomfortable, and it was shutting people's flow down. So I've gone to one-on-one, which has actually allowed me to bring more treats and offerings to that person sitting in the chair in a 2.5 hour period. So then we can have the tears, and we can have, you know, essential oils to support, and we can have the flower remedies, and and all the energy as well. So it's like a little package.
Yeah, so it's like you intuitively have stuff coming in, and you've had to create that space so that you can, you know, people can feel safe and comfortable as they're going through that, whatever comes up for them, or whatever they're experiencing at that time.
Yeah, and especially something that I have learned probably in the last 10 years is the energy transference of cutting someone's hair off when they go from having really long hair and then saying, you know what, I want to change. I don't want to carry this around anymore. Which is not only they're talking about physically their hair is too long and it's annoying them and I'm wearing it in a ponytail all the time. But they're like, you know, I'm done. I don't want to have the weight on me anymore. And that's where the crown therapy was birthed. So sort of taking away the excess length that they don't want to carry. And this often happens after a traumatic time in their life, or even just a change of life where they've gotten married, or, you know, and they grew their hair and then they're like, right, new life. Now I'm married. I want a new look. And I sort of support them through that as well. And I had a really beautiful experience with a teenager who wanted 3 inches cut off the bottom of her hair. And she, as soon as I took that last snip, she just burst into tears. And so I quickly grabbed some frankincense and I grabbed some ylang ylang, and I said, you know what, we're going to go out the front and we're going to sit under the tree and we're going to have some fresh air, and we're just going to talk and process this emotion that you're feeling. And so we did that, and she breathed in the essential oils, and I use frankincense because of the connection to the higher self, and I use the ylang ylang for nurturing and nourishing the inner self. And so it sort of brings them back into the moment. And what we had discussed was that 3 months previous to that, which is about that same length, she'd been bullied at school, and she needed to get rid of that energy. And so after she'd sort of released the emotion around it and released some tears around it, and the hair was gone, she was like, I feel better now. So yeah, that was when I really started to look more into what the whole thing, not just me as a hairdresser, but many hairdressers all over the world are now tuning into this work and realizing that being behind the chair is a lot more than cutting off length and touching up a regrowth. So
yeah. I know for me personally, I've been seeing the same hairdresser for 15 years. And I mean, there's times where we've talked about connecting outside of, you know, because I've only seen it for my hair, connecting outside. It's probably longer than 15, it's probably closer to 20. And we just never have sort of caught up outside of the hairdressing. But the space and the way we talk to each other is not the way I would talk to anybody else. So I think there's I don't know, I think there's, especially when you've been with someone for a long time, but you're giving them a piece of you that they're removing, and even just some of the words that you're using, you know, when you're talking with me now, it's just making me realize probably why I you know, have such a close bond with her. And I feel like we can really tell each other such private things. The things we've told each other is just so deep that I would probably not even tell my bestie. So, you know, and I know she's definitely told me stuff, and how that feels for her, I'm not sure. But yeah, you've just sort of made me realize, because people always say that, don't they? The conversations people have with hairdressers. So there's this whole energy that must be around that whole process and experience that people have.
Yeah, and I mean, we're standing in your auric field. So, and we're taking something away. So sometimes it can be invasive. I've had an experience where it was an invasive thing, and she didn't know. She's like, you cut my hair, and then I cried for like 3 days, and I have no idea what happened. And I actually took offense to it. So like, what do you think I did? Butcher you? Like, I wasn't trying to, you know. But she had lost her father previously to that. I don't know whether that was something that came up for her, but it was definitely something that I was thinking about. And I had spoken to one of my beautiful friends who's a medium, Nikki. She was helping me sort of process through that because I felt so bad. But she kept saying to me when I was saying, what do you know, like, what have we think I've done? She's like, no, you're a hairdresser. I travel from Fremantle to see you. I know that you've done what you needed to do. I just want to understand why I cried for 3 days. And I'm like, I don't know. And this was like 5 years ago. So it was before I really got into this work. But yeah, it can be quite emotional. And, you know, like, I've got long hair. I'm not ready to cut my hair off. You know, I need to work on that.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
I feel the same. Yeah. I had my hair really short after I had my second child, and I was so, you know, I felt like it was new beginnings. So that's why I cut it all off. But I have not had a chop since then, and that was, you know, that's 22 years ago. So
and you know, it can be, you know, a story that I love to share about the energy behind hair is that the Cherokee Indians were invited to work with the US Army in Vietnam, or one of the wars, and it might have even been a civil war, but they wanted them to come and help work by navigating and using their you know, their intuition to be able to you know, win the war and help support them. And they wanted, you know, how the Cherokee Indians have such beautiful long black hair. They actually wanted them to cut it all off, so that it was like a you you know, the crew cut kind of vibe.
Right.
And after that, they couldn't navigate the way that they could while they had their hair.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Wow,
Because it went against their culture
yeah,
more than anything. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, that's a bit out there, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. So I guess I haven't asked the most important question. So what is crown therapy? Can you kind of explain that? And I know you mentioned, and I don't know if this is another question, but crown chakras and what does that mean as well? And maybe talking about it as if, you know, nobody knows about it. And
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, for anybody out there.
Yeah, it's like a language I use all the time. So like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I know. I know. I just know sometimes when I talk about things, people are like, what do you mean? So, yeah.
So crown chakra therapy actually came to me via an article that I read via my beautiful friend Joe, who's a kinesiologist. This is the interesting thing, you know, things come to you through people that you know, and it's you know, when you actually start sharing the story of how you come across these things, it's beautiful to know those people. You see those people again, you know, the little stepping stones to where you're going. But Joe, I had told that story I told you before about the woman who cried for 3 days. I was telling her about it, came up in my session with her. She's a kinesiologist. And I was so rattled by it. And so I was leaning into her work to help me through it. And she said, you know what, I've got this article that I read and it's really fascinating. And I think you need to have a look at it. And so I read it, and it was actually written by Andy Scarborough, who owns a salon called Get a Damn Haircut in San Diego. And she was already doing this work where she used Reiki, oracle cards, crystals, and created a crystal comb out of crystal. So something that we do, or I do with my clients before, especially the ones that really lean into crystals and love crystals. I have an amethyst comb, a rose quartz comb, an obsidian comb, and a galaxite comb. And I intuitively select which one, and I comb their hair through. So I'm dealing with the chakra at the top, which is the crown chakra, and working to clear any energy that is withheld in the mind, obviously, which is also really good to support the pituitary and the pineal for the hormones as well. And when people are feeling really clogged up and scattered and foggy in the brain, it does help clear that as well.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I feel like a lot of women and would need support in that area, because we're always trying to multitask and just do like 50 million things at once. So
yeah.
So that's just kind of like the start of the treatment, is it? Or
yeah. So with every client, I also do a neck massage. So I open up with a neck massage, and I kind of drop in to their field, and I kind of, if anything comes up, I'll share it. Sometimes nothing comes up. Sometimes they're too busy talking to me because they've been in a car or they've had a massive day, and you know, it takes a really long time for them to wind down.
Yeah.
And I just kind of start doing the neck massage, and then I sort of start looking out to the garden, out the window, because that's what takes me out of the moment and stops me from thinking. And I start sort of calling in, if there's anything that this person needs, let me know, let it drop in. And then if I'm called to use a comb, I'll use a comb, whatever one that comes up. Sometimes it might be a message. Usually it's a flower. Something that happened has become a lot clearer for me channel wise is the flowers. All types of flowers come through. And I have the Australian bushflower essences to use as a reference for messages for people, but I also have another book about all different types of flowers, and there's always a message that aligns with how they're feeling in that moment. And then that's kind of where it starts. And then the conversation flows from there. And then if they need a little more, I'll bring Reiki into at the basin, and I'll massage their head, and I'll infuse Reiki into that. Sometimes I bring white light in. Sometimes I will put essential oils on their crown, or flower essences. If I've channeled the flower, I'll bring that in at the basin as well. So it's a variable thing, but crown chakra therapy is all of that encapsulated. That's basically what that is.
It sounds like heaven.
It's you know, it's different. It's a hard, it's, you know, like it's definitely been something that I was doing it before I read that article, but because I'm the sort of person that likes to do things with authenticity, I needed the validation to see that someone was doing it.
Yeah.
For me to realize that actually it's not just woo-woo.
Yeah.
It actually is a modality.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny how we need that instead of just, you know, going with what we know and what we know is working as well. Like, oh, this is working, but let me just check. Yeah,
exactly.
Can I ask something? Do you get drained from because I have seen people in the past for Reiki, and I know that they really struggle, and kinesiology, and I know they struggle with I guess taking on people's do you say energy or stuff? So do you have that experience, or do you feel that because you've been able to do it for such a long time intuitively that you kind of know what you need to do for yourself to find that balance, I guess?
I think the whole journey for me with doing this work is understanding the difference between what you've picked up from someone and what you're carrying within yourself. And it's probably where my personal development has come in to support me in that, to teach me how to acknowledge what's mine and what's theirs. Because when I was doing, you know, 6 clients a day back to back in this space and having so many conversations and having smaller children and all that sort of stuff, yes, I got to the point of burnout. I started turning people away, and I started reassessing where I was going moving forward in my career or in my work, because I was just like, what I offer is different. Who else can I pass these people to? There isn't anybody doing it. Okay, it's just you. You know, and it was kind of like, but then I started to just kind of honor it more. I would have to say I'm still working and realizing that my hairdressing is, like I put a post up recently, it's my trade, but the healing is my passion. And so I'm trying to group it so people don't go, oh, Lisa's doing this now and I'll go somewhere else. But it's more, you know, trying to bring it all together. People that just need their hair done can go anywhere. That's basically, you know, like people.
Well, I feel like this is a great way of being able to have 2 things done at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm all about multitasking. So I can walk out and feel like, you know, I've released some stuff or let go of some, you know, energy I was carrying around that wasn't serving me. I would, and I got my hair done at the same time. Perfect. Do you have anybody that does this for you?
No.
You know how hairdressers usually have, you know, hairdressers, and like I'm a coach and I've got coaches, so you know, we all
I think I've had to split it. I've had to split it up. So I have a hairdresser, and I have a kinesiologist, and I have a spinal flow practitioner, and I have you know, like I've got all these different things that helps support me. And obviously my self-mastery work through Joanna Rushton is another thing that has been helping support me as well. And the universal rays that I learned through her has been an incredible support as well, to get to know myself and where I'm at and why I'm here and what I'm supposed to be doing on this beautiful earth that we live on.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's knowing that you are in the right area is what I think people, when they have that exchange with you, can feel that, you know, that you're 100% there, and you're not just, you know, so many people you go and you get a treatment from or a service from or whatever you're doing, that surface exchange, and you can just feel people's. So when you're doing something that's hair and energy and emotional and healing, yeah, I mean, people would be able to experience, I guess, someone that's really connected to what they're doing and in tune with everything. So like, yeah, I can imagine. So I'm going to have to get my hair done now. I don't know what my hairdresser would say, because we're like soulmates.
You could just come and have a blow dry, and
I think that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I'm liking the idea of the neck massage as well.
Yes,
I must admit,
yes.
I think
Everyone gets a neck massage.
Yeah,
Yes.
that sounds awesome. Foot massage would be good too if we get.
Yeah, I know. I'll work on that.
That's so cool. So what part do you like the best? Like, what's your most what do you enjoy the best about what you do?
I think I love having a connection that is bigger than the three-dimensional world with someone.
Yeah.
Like when the flower comes through, and I say, and obviously there's been periods of self-doubt, so I'll go, look, I don't know if this resonates with you at all, but I just got a dandelion. Does this make any sense to you whatsoever? And the person goes, are you kidding me? That's like my favorite flower ever. And I have a connection with my mother on it. This happened recently. Her mother had Alzheimer's, and she had this, she goes, I have to show you this video now that you've said that. And she just visited her a couple of weeks previous to that, and she'd filmed this experience that they had together, because they'd always had a connection with dandelions when she was more lucid and not heavily into her illness. And she was blowing, and yeah, they always had a connection with the dandelion, but this just recently, she was blowing the dandelion, and obviously, you know how dandelions just disperse into the atmosphere. And she said, I have to show you this, because this is incredible that you mentioned that. And her mother, and now I don't know, I might be going a bit too far here, but Alzheimer's for me, my grandmother had Alzheimer's, and on a spiritual level, I feel that they are sitting on the fence. They're kind of in between worlds. And so what I kind of felt after that initiation with me channeling the dandelion flower, seeing that experience for this client, then after that, every time she would come see me for a haircut, her mother would drop things into me. I would pick up on things that she would say or do, and I'd say, does your mum like hand cream? And she goes, because I feel like I need to make a hand cream for her. She goes, oh my God, she loves hand cream. You know, like, I don't know. And so I would make these things for her, and she would kind of interrupt the flow of our session. And yeah, that's a little like out there, but this is the stuff that lights me up, because I truly believe, because we're all connected,
yeah,
that it's quite easy for us to to easily pick up on thoughts and feelings, even if they're not even in the room.
It's quite, I think a lot of people ignore that, don't they? They block that, and you've figured out how to really enhance on it and use it and bring it in, and and that's a real gift that you've got.
Yeah, it's a
big gift with all sorts of positives and negatives surrounding it.
It's out there. But I think I've always wanted to believe that there is magic, and that's my magic that I like to bring into the space for people.
Cool. I love that. So tell me, what's your biggest challenge in what you do? Like, what do you feel is like the hardest part?
I think self-care for me.
Yeah.
Because and I don't know if I answered your question before when you were talking about I kind of did, but I kind of didn't, about picking up and getting tired and things like that. Many other healers have said to me, do you protect yourself before you do that work? And I don't, because I'm so excited to get my teeth into it that I just forget. And I don't know if that's maybe a self-evaluation on my part, where I just go, don't worry about yourself now. Just this person needs you right now, and just worry about this person. And I think that's a hairdressing trade too. We kiss the feet of the person that sits in the chair. That's just the way that we've been trained, especially 30 years ago. It was, you are, you rush off for a 5-minute lunch, and if you don't get that 5-minute lunch, that's too bad, because another client's coming in,
You're right.
So I've really had to work on my
your mindset around
my self-care. And not putting, I've always put people before myself, and I really feel that that's because I've been doing this trade since I was 15. So I've grown up in that industry of just constantly looking after people and serving. And I actually love to serve others. I think that's definitely something that I've realized that's, I'm creative and I love to serve. That's where I'm at.
I think that's kind of all the speakers that I've got in are the kind of people I attract, is people that love to serve and healers in some way. So it's like, and it's funny, but I think that we can get so excited about what we're doing, and we can get so passionate about it, and it's very easy to get caught up in that and not give ourselves that self-care. But what I always do for myself is that reminder that I will always show up as my best self if I actually put myself first. If I put myself first, I'm going to be, at full capacity, high vibe, high energy. And even though I'm really excited, especially when I've got like a new client, I'm like literally so excited when I hear all the things that are going on and all the things I can do for them, which is probably exactly what you're experiencing. And then everything else gets forgotten because you're just thinking about that. But I've had to do that like over the last few years, just to really be able to show up as my best, because you find that you can I think pick stuff up, and the next thing you're starting to feel a little bit not as good as you should. And so it's just that nice reminder that we have to do for ourselves, like, don't forget to look after yourself, and put yourself first. And that's hard, especially when we're mums, like we're used to putting everybody else first, including the pets. So
I know, right?
Yes.
Gosh. Our dog, we had a brand new couch, and I think the novelty wore off for, in the first 6 months, where she's like, and I belong on the couch too. we rolled out.
We've not given up. We're like, nope, you have your bed, you stay over there.
I've got a long cushion, So like I'm
Yeah.
trying to make everyone like, okay, this is Zena's spot. Just leave that there. Nowhere else.
Dogs. I feel like all healers should have dogs, and I know there's quite a few healers in this group that have cats, but I just see that dogs bring so much happiness. Like you can, doesn't matter how you feel, you can just like hug them and they just make you feel really like happy and full of energy, and they take your troubles away from it. Like they just, I don't know. I feel like my dog absorbs my negativity, but she doesn't take it on. So
Nah.
I don't know. It's really,
Yeah.
I'm definitely a dog person.
Yeah. I have to say, Zena has been, you know, like she'll always bark when someone comes to the front door because she's very protective. But she's been coming in, and she seems to be a bit of an empath dog, actually. She does a thing. She has a routine.
Yeah.
And she'll come and she'll sniff their feet, and then she'll hang around. And then if she gets enough pats, she'll loiter.
Yeah.
Because when someone's hair processes, then they can sit on the floor. If they're dog lovers, they'll sit with her and they'll pat her and enjoy her. And she just laps it up like the Queen Sheba. It's hilarious.
That's what I mean. I feel like there's that, they take away all that negativity or that heaviness, but they don't absorb it. Well, I don't think they do. Might need to get a dog person on here to do one of it. To find out. I actually know of somebody, so yeah, I'll have to organize that.
There you go.
So I love to throw some different questions out. What's your biggest failure and what did you learn from it?
Failure.
So it doesn't have to be business, it can be personal, it's up to you.
Failure. You got me on the spot there, Mel.
You can pass.
Why aren't they coming in? My failure I would have to say, this is an existing one for all time at the moment, is business.
It doesn't sound like you're failing in business.
I don't. Great. Do you know? And like I've said this to people before. I haven't needed to grow this business on social media. It's only been in the last few years that I actually got a name, and I got a website, and I got, you know, all that sort of stuff set up.
Putting yourself out there.
Yeah, I'm not good at selling myself. I just like to do what I do and see what comes out of it.
I think if you share your passion and what you do, I feel like that stuff comes, you know, it definitely, you know, people will, you know, vibrate towards the people that are, you know, passionate about what they do, or they'll feel that connection. You know, some people like me, some people don't, whatever. Yeah. And I think that it is different. It is different when you've kind of been able to avoid social media. And I think for me, that's been a huge part of my business for the last 6 years. And I've only just started getting used to it the last 2 years of, you know, doing things and being vulnerable, I think. But yeah, it's just checking back in with who you are and remembering that if you don't share with people what you do, there's people out there that are missing out on that experience. And that would be a shame. Like, how many people will listen to this and, you know, be interested in getting crown therapy? Because I do. So like, especially when you said the neck massage. But I think to be able to
can't knock back a neck massage. I mean.
I know, right? But to have that experience while you're getting your hair done, I mean, I don't know of anybody else that does that. So I think, so maybe it's not a failure, maybe it's more your biggest challenge. And so I mean, maybe figuring out what do you need to learn from it, or what are you learning from it now, which
I definitely have always seen myself as, I don't know, a plodder, and I'll do this and I'll go over here, and Definitely live in a box of limitation, and that's something that I think a lot of us are now learning, that limitation does not serve us, and that it's time to get out of the box. And I think that's where the healing industry is helping a lot of people take off the dark glasses and start to see the that the path that is in front of them, if they choose to do that path.
And it's not salesy, at the end of the day, it's talking and sharing with people what you do, and whether they take it up or not is their business. And like, if you see them, you do. And I just think you need to share more of what you do, because I know that when I've had Reiki experiences in the past, and I've seen energy healers, I've seen the works, I feel like, over the last 5-6 years, and every time I've had an amazing experience. They've just been different levels of how amazing they are. But there's never been a time where I've gone and had any kind of experience or service with them that I have not come out of that going, that was great, that was just what I needed. There's just some that have just been like mind-blowing, and they're the ones you go back and see all the time, which you would know, because it works for you. And you've got to try different things, don't you, to figure out what's the best.
And I think in the last few weeks, as I've started to actually have more people come towards me for the healing practices, it was funny, because I shared in the group with my Path of Love group that I have an aversion to self-healing and self-care. And as soon as I put that out there, I received more clients needing or wanting me to facilitate their healing. So because the healing that you do, you receive as well. It's a give and receive. And it's a really beautiful transference of learning too. So
absolutely. Isn't it interesting what we put out there and what we receive? So one of the last questions, what is one person that comes to your mind that has influenced you and helped you to learn and grow?
Well, there's been quite a few.
So just one.
I will pick just one, because I could go on. But I do recommend, if anybody in business are a little bit lost in trying to find choice, where they're going. I read recently Samantha Wills's book.
I've heard about it. I haven't read it, but I heard it's really good.
And books come to us when we are ready to read them.
Yes.
And it was the perfect book that I needed recently, and it's kind of changed my whole outlook and perception about what I'm doing. And following that, once I sort of finished reading that, I was like, I just had a lot more clarity on just moving forward and just trusting and surrendering to the process. And I think we're lucky that we live in a time now where there are so many different opportunities that we can create and do whatever we want, really, if we can really go within and ask ourselves the questions. It's nice to have support from healers and amazing people around here, but if you can walk a path with someone holding their hand and support them during that whole process, and then let them go when they're ready to go, I think that's a really important journey.
I love that. I agree with that one. I've heard the book is really good. I have a huge pile of books on my bedside table. So I do audiobooks really good. So the books I listen to on audiobook, I'm great, because I drive around a lot and I'll listen to them. But, I get them on my bedside table and I'm like, yes. And I start reading, I get a couple of pages in, I'm like, I'm out.
I know. I get so tired.
And there's some books you just want to buy and have like the paper version. So it's it's a little bit frustrating. But I think if I just go to bed a little bit earlier, I can get onto it. So thanks for joining us tonight. I just wanted to ask you, like, have you got any events or anything exciting that's coming up for you that you wanted to mention? Anything that you might want to share with the group?
Still in the building process,
Yeah.
but I do want to probably start up some sort of platform where I can talk to people more so and share just whatever is coming up.
Yeah.
But that will probably be shared through my my Facebook page anyway, the Botanical Hair Therapist. So yeah, but I am wanting to do workshops, and I am working on that currently. So yeah, I suppose just follow the page and see what comes up.
I was going to say, how can these ladies get in touch with you? What should they be looking for? Yeah,
so the Botanical Hair Therapist page is on FB, Facebook, and Instagram also. I'm not a regular user, but I'm a regular user, but I'm not a regular sharer. But there's plenty of information there already where I'm sharing a lot of things, and there's a lot of pictures of the space and different offerings that I provide. And I have a website, www.botanicalhairtherapist.com, which has a little bit to share there about some of the offerings that I do in this space as well.
Yeah, awesome. That sounds really good. So I know you're just as passionate about women's health and wellbeing as I am. So thank you again for joining me tonight. And I will also pop some comments below about, or if you want to do it, about your handles so everyone can check them out. But I just wanted to say a very big thank you for sharing your time with us and talking about something, I guess, that not many people would have heard about or I'd be really aware of, and have a think about it, and they can decide if it's something that they want to try as well. But it was just great chatting with you about just your journey as well, because it's funny how we go through such a interesting journey that takes us on different paths and gets us to where we are now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Always wanting to learn. I'm definitely a learner. I wasn't really a scholastic learner, but I definitely love the lessons of life. So I'll keep plugging in on that.
Yeah, me too. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. And
thanks, Mel.
We'll see you later.
Thanks for having me. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.